Welcome to Breakfreeradio, where the sky is not the limit.
It's just the beginning. Welcome to another episode of Money Talks here on Breakfreeradio. This is your opportunity to learn from the best of the best in the legal, accounting, and investment domains to further your financial dreams. Remember, these are discussions regarding the many aspects of money. Always seek professional advice pertinent to your specific financial goals. Now, on with the show. Well, hello everybody. Here it is on a Friday evening, and I've been on the phone all day, and my voice is just scratchy. I know you've heard Tony with his scratchy voice for quite a while. Tonight, it's my turn to be on the scratchy voice side. So, hello everybody, and also, as always, welcome to Tony. We're always grateful to have him here on the show with us. So, welcome, Tony. You sound better, though. You're doing much better.
You know what? I've been talking to you all day on the phone. I haven't coughed or anything like that once, have I?
No.
Nope. That's kind of unusual.
You've done well. You've done well. It's been interesting, too. I've been on the phone all day long and talking to people, helping them with their investment strategies, and it's just been an amazing journey. I know that we talk about Sim Trade Pro, what I do, and promote all kinds of stuff, but I got to tell you, folks, I've never done anything in my life that's more fun than this. You know, to open the door for people to see the possibility, the hope that they actually can create a retirement, you know, a resource for money and all that kind of stuff. And so when I had a talk with Tony today, I thought I would love to delve into the conversation and talk about investing. Just simply, what is it? Why is it? What's so important about it? What do we have to do so that our mindset is oriented in that particular direction? And several years ago, and I'm talking about 30 plus years ago, I had an employer of mine hand me this book called The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, some of you may have heard of it, and if you have, that's great. If you haven't, I'm sure you can find it anywhere. It's a short read. It's not very long, and it's written as a parable having to do with something that was from the Babylonian period. It actually was written by an individual and used as pamphlets in banks and financial institutions. So they would share these with their customers about learning to be frugal and how to invest and save 10% and all that kind of stuff. And then in 1926, somebody put it together and marketed it. And it's just been I know that for me, it was a book that kind of set my mind into the thinking that living hand to mouth all the time, which all of us have been guilty of somewhere along the line, it doesn't give you the retirement you're looking for. It doesn't give you what you want. So Tony and I are going to spend a little bit of time talking about that and talk about why invest, how invest, and you know, because everybody who's listening on this has got dinar, pretty much, alrighty, and we have it because we have a particular idea about retirement or the acquisition of money and how that's going to affect ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, and the estates and all that kind of stuff. So we all have an idea of what it's like to have that money, but what I want to do is I want to take it one step further. I mean, that's part of the joy I have is getting people introduced to using the tools that Tony has been promoting so heavily and making that happen now, you know, outside of the regimen of waiting for the dinar. And it's really important. So, Tony, as we step into this thing, the first thing that I remember about the book, and when I looked into it, is they say that the one thing that all of us have plenty of is time. And I know we talked about that just briefly. So why don't you share your perspective on that, and then we'll step in and go from there.
Well, you know, as far as investing goes or how life goes, you know, it's kind of, a lot of people will counter that a little bit, Bob. They'll say, well, you could walk out tomorrow and get hit by a car. Well, you know, you don't bet on an unknown. You know what I mean? So you look at it as if, you know, you're gonna walk through life for a while. And people don't invest in time like they're supposed to. They don't even know that they're supposed to. Some of the best financial people that I know, you know, I go through with them. What we do is we compare. So I don't want to talk as if I'm talking about these guys from a superior standpoint, because a lot of these guys are a lot smarter than me. But what we do is we compare. You know, how you doing this? How you being efficient at that? What is it that you're looking at? And I realized that I beat them all on time. I beat them because the way that I treat time, or, you know, I just work more than more people. And I don't consider it as work. It's an investment. That's all it is, nothing more. So, I mean, you look at how many years you have, you know, and I've talked about this before, Bob, where if you're not making that much, and so what do you do to invest? You know, you just save up money because you're actually saving up power. It's the same thing, you know, like I use an analogy like video games or whatever. It's just simply power. People don't realize that's what your time is. And so that's how I utilize it. And then when we would go through and we would restructure goals for these guys that, you know, have money and they were successful already, guess what? They found out that they can actually add more time to it. So that's my perspective of it. You know what I mean? I take it all seriously, every bit of it. And you know me. I mean, my crowd knows you. You know, I'm behind in my audios right now is because, you know, I'm dedicated to everything, you know, my work, everything. So, you know, but that's how I utilize my time. And believe it or not, that's actually the key to success, because you can put your money in the same investments as everybody else. That's easy. We just got to show people how to do it. But the reason I can advance a little bit more than that is because how do I utilize time and how it's attached to it. So my number is going to be a little bit more efficient just by default. Okay, so that's how I would kind of define it. I know it's a little bit different than probably what you're used to, but that's it.
You know, in our society, we have a tendency to really kind of consume time in a way that's meant for pleasure, and instead of looking at it as an opportunity to invest. So how much time do we spend watching TV or going to videos or movies or whatever? And I'm not trying to say that so people feel guilty. It's just that, what is your focus in life? Yes, you're going to have so much time while you're here playing this game. What is your intention? What do you want to accomplish? You know, what is your goal? And so when people say...
Bob, can I throw this in there real quick before I forget? Because this is important. Here's something that is pointed out with people that I hang out with. Some of these people that are very, very successful. All right? Everybody wants to be able to relax. Everybody wants to be able to... Even when you get money and you want to retire, you'll find out that when you're retired that you still want some type of activity going. But this is where I promise you, though, you know, people have in the mindset, I don't want to work my butt off for the rest of my life. I've been working my butt off my whole life. Here's the trade-off. The quality time that you have with the resources that you have, when you put more effort and time into getting there, it completely is more rewarding than a lot of people are worried about working hard. You know, you're driving down the road in your dream car compared to just whatever it is that you can afford. You're going on magnificent vacations. That's the trade-off. So it's up for you. You know, that decision is for you to decide. I realize that all these guys, including myself, you know, we vacation on purpose. We don't go on vacations. We whatever we buy, it's on purpose. And so, you know, we're able to do that. And I notice that people who treat their time a little bit differently as an asset, their quality of life and what it is that they can afford and get is completely different. It's off the charts for the average person. I'm telling you right now, those guys are no different from anybody else. It's just the way that they treat it. Sorry, Bob. I just kind of wanted to... That's what we noticed.
You don't need to be say sorry for that one. Okay, because time really is the measure of almost our existence. And what we do with that time is entirely up to us. It's our choice, our decision, what we want to do. And oftentimes in our mindset, which is, quite frankly, guys, when you begin to realize that it's your beliefs that live your life, it's not you. And when you're hosting a belief, a thought about time, that you don't have time or your time's being taken away or something along that line, there's only one person that's in control of your time. It's you. You decide. You determine. What am I going to do with this commodity, the only commodity that I really have in this existence, which is time? What am I going to do with it? So when you take your mindset and realize, okay, I have this much of a quality or quantity of what I'm going to deal with, what am I going to do with it? So let's focus on that just for a minute. If you were to change your mind about time and what you wanted to invest during that time, what would be the results? You know, I tell everybody I talk to, life is nothing but an experiment. It's just an experiment. And we determine what our experience and experiment is going to be all about. Well, I know here I am in my later middle ages. Okay, I'm later than that. And I'm discovering new things. I mean, All kinds of new
remember,
things.
you're on the radio, so you can lie about that if you want to. It makes you feel better. You know what I mean? Nobody will know.
I understand that. I don't have a problem with admitting the fact that I'm in my mid-60s, okay? And I also look at the fact, okay, Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Colonel, he didn't get really going until he was 65. Okay, cool. All right. There's no time for too late for this nonsense. However, I've also found that the decision to do this is really a choice that we make. The other part that I have great joy in my work with SimTrade Pro is that I'm talking to people who are on the edge like I am in their aging, and they're saying, I have to do something now. I have to do something now, okay? Because all of the events in my life thus far have pointed me and put me where I'm at right now. So they're looking at investment ideas and strategies and whatever in their mind to compensate for the time that they spent doing something else other than focusing on their investing. Now, I think you said something that's really important there too, Tony, and that's the the quality of the investment. When you have people who are totally focused, and when they have a vacation, it's not because they take a vacation, it's because they're doing a vacation. And even that has an intensity to it and a purpose to it, and it's got an unlimited welcome, boundary to it. It's so much different when your financial situation and your focus is different than what most of us have. A lot of people like to sit around and say, "Well, someday," and they hope, and they dream. But the fact of the matter is,
those are all words you do not use as a winner.
Amen.
Hope and dreams. And all that stuff. I know a lot of people, that's a symbolic word for them for, what could possibly happen, but that's just simply not a reality. It's not a reality. It is focus and movement and recognizing what it is that you need to do. Nothing more.
My sweetheart always points this to me, and she says, if you look at the calendar, does it say someday anywhere on there? No. No, someday, it just isn't on that calendar. That's why it's fun talking to people who have dinar, because everybody seems to get wrapped up in their the immersion of the gurus, and they keep trying to dictate a date when that someday is going to come to fruition, which none of us really know what that's going to look like. One of the gifts that I know I got from you, Tony, when I met you in April of this last year was I can let go of now the someday effect and dream about the dinar. Now I can focus on, okay, what can I really honestly do with what I have? And the more I study and the more I keep working with all this stuff, the more I realize, holy mackerel, I can do anything. I can do anything. And I know that I'm working with people now who come to the table with small amounts to invest or large amounts to invest. And we're looking at the possibilities of how that would work for them or how that, and it's incredible to see how their focus changes. And I'm talking a little bit about hope somewhat because they begin to see that the parity of time and their retirement, the dreariness that they've associated attached to it because they have a series of unconscious guilt beliefs that they're failing can actually disappear. You can renew yourself with the time that you have and refocus
literally overnight
and accomplish things immediately. One of the things that I have too, I know I'm talking a lot about my experience here with SimTrade, but I'm amazed when people actually go to the event that you offer so well and they learn something and they come back and we're talking, and I got people that I've had up and running in one freaking day. They've done all the steps and here we go. And other people who are a little bit dragging their feet, I get taken by the hand. Come on. We can do this. And when we accomplish it, the focus changes. I had another guy I was talking to just the other day. He says, I only got $10,000 I could put in. And then we start talking and he realizes that the time and he realizes the opportunity. He says, well, I guess I could sell my motorcycle and I could do this, I can do that, and I can intensify my investments because of my willingness to change my mind. So, the willingness to invest requires certain things, okay? It just simply requires certain things. And one of those is the realization that time is yours. You are under control of that time. What you choose to do with it is the only commodity that you really have control over. And so do something with your time while you have it. It works. Okay, anything you want to add on that, Tony, before I go to the next part?
Yeah, think about this though, Bob. I mean, we're talking from the perspective. What's the full title of the book? The Richest Man in Babylon.
The Richest Man in Babylon. Yep.
Okay. Well, at the very beginning, what's he do? He goes out and he asks advice from. I mean, so, and that's what what Bob's talking about is we actually do have access to privileged information. So you're kind of cutting corners here because, we already spent the time doing it. Somebody asked me this last week, I introduced him to Bob. It's like, look, that's great. I understand what you did. I told him what I made in a 2.5 year period, blew him out of the water. But what about me? What can I do? What can I see that I'm doing? And guess what? Bob can show you that. He can go right through the chart and show you exactly what it is you're going to make and what's going on, So anyways, that would be it's the ultimate that you can do is just call them up and ask and see what's going on and see the numbers for what they really are.
The other
you
thing
can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Well, the one thing I wanted to add too is when I listened to you and Ed when you did your presentation, the thing that I really caught on to, and I know when I talked to you, I remember the conversation explicitly. Okay, I'm going to get these tools and I'm going to play around for 6 months to figure them out. That didn't make any sense to me because the timeline was too much. And so when I started putting together this thing, I realized that getting people to get past the learning curve so they can enhance their positions in investment as quickly as possible, that was the key. That was the key. You got to get it past that cotton picking problem of time and make your investment strategies now, to get started now, and to stay attached to that. Associate your living to that process. Now, guys, I'm gonna highly recommend, and we could go through this book and spend a month talking about it, and I'm not going to do that because I know that Tony and I both have other things that we got to get accomplished. However, take the time to go read the book. It's short. You get it from the library. You can buy it on eBay for practically nothing. All right, it's well worth having in your library as a reminder that these steps that they're saying that are here are the same steps that Tony's teaching you. It's the same thing I'm professing. These are the things that you do. And one of the things that I remember about the book is when they talked about if you want to go buy diamonds, you don't go talk to a baker. Okay? You talk to somebody who buys diamonds. So you learn from them what you want to accomplish. And then you pursue that knowledge as it's being given to you, and so you can go on from there. Now, something else, too, I've learned. When I focus on something, for example, if I'm going to focus on my time, I'm going to focus on my investment, focus on it doesn't matter. I can focus on a show. Let's say I'm watching a show, okay, on TV, for the heck of it. Pick one. I like Downton Abbey a lot, okay? There you know. That's the truth. All right? So I got into watching Downton Abbey. We've only been in it for a little tiny while. And I say, that's really an awesome show. So I go to the news, and the first thing I see this morning is they're talking about they're all done. This is season 6. It's going to be all over with. Well, how come? Well, because my mind had gone to that, and now I get more manifestations in that same area. I see it every day. When I focus, things naturally come. It's the same thing with this. When you focus on your investments, when you focus on what it is that you really truly want, it just like the universe opens it up and gives it to you. But you have to be willing to see it. You got to stay focused on it. And you go for it. Now, I'm going to share something, Tony. If I embarrass you, please forgive me. One of the things about Tony that I love, okay, is the fact that when he sees about money, he sees light. All right? It is a gift that he has. All righty? And it's come because he's been willing to focus his time, his energy into that. He can see it. Now, all of us have different gifts. We all have different gifts. This happens to be his. He's sharing this gift. He has found some remarkable tools that make it available for everybody to be able to accomplish their dream. Fortunately, I get to work with him. Okay, I get to help people to accomplish this and what they're doing. So this investment thing is something you really need to be serious about. Go get the book, go read it, all right? And then realize, yeah, it is a possibility. Yeah, you can do this. it can accomplish. Now, I want to retrace just for a moment, Tony.
Yeah.
Everybody is looking to the dinar, okay? We have all of these gurus that are making chats. I had some guy today that tried to send me into a dinar chat group, and you got to hear the latest news, and this person's got this connection with all these uppities, and I didn't have the heart to say, okay, been there, done that, and you got to realize the majority of those that are sharing this information, really, they have a different agenda. And it's not necessarily malicious, and I don't mean to say that it is, but I also know that it's a cycle. Everybody gets caught in the cycle, and they spend their time in that cycle. My invitation is to take a look at how much time you spend in that cycle, and are you willing to break that cycle and do something else? Something that is going to be phenomenal, that's going to be of great value, that's going to reward you. So, here we go. One more time. I know, Tony, you've got 3 events. You've got the dates today. So we can go ahead and promote those and tell everybody, here's your chance to go do this. I'm also inviting everybody to go get that little book, Richest Man in Babylon. I think it's marvelous. It really talks about the things that, if you're going to succeed with this game, even though it's done in a parable form, it's just really quite good. You need to do it. You just simply need to do it. It can be a great guide to moving you forward. All right. However, on the dinar front, Tony, do we have anything that you've observed or come across that's got any value to where we're at right at the moment?
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me, is there anything dictating speed or anything like that? It is. It's the oil prices. So with the oil prices down, it's actually accelerating that window of opportunity for them to revalue where they need to be. So that's what we need to watch, is the price of oil go. If it goes up, it's not going to stop it, and it doesn't depend on it. But the opportunity, the windows, you know what I mean? Unless something else comes up in the market, they want to hit that reset button to where they can have long-term strategies based off commodities, oil, gold, and all that stuff. That's been tilted. That's been tipped. So this year, it's going to be a very volatile market, which is unbelievable for guys like me and Bob, the way that we're set up, the way that SimTrade Pro works, and what it is that we do. We like that. One of these days, if you call them and you ask them, you'll realize it's like, talk about the market dropping, and we're one of those very few people who wake up in the morning, it's like, oh God, please let the market crash. People don't understand that. It's like, how is that possible? What is it that you're doing? And so you want that opportunity, and you want to be able to call Bob and ask, but there's nothing outside of that. A lot of people, there's another gentleman that showed up, and supposedly he's a doctor, and he's been posting it's the same person, by the way. I don't want to say who it is. There's a guy out there. Like I said, everybody has an accent. Like, people that come to my event say, you know what, I recognize that voice anywhere because I've heard you for so long. Well, the same thing with writing. When people write, it's the same guy. He writes in the same type. Actually, it's a lady, and she writes in the same parables. And they're all talking. It's going to revalue in March. You guys, you can waste your time, like Bob said. You can waste your time. It all depends on how you waste your time. If you go to these sites, all you have to do is look at the source. Have they ever been right? What are you doing back on that site? What is it that you're doing? It's not about being right or wrong. It's about looking at the numbers. Anybody can guess on what's going to happen. That's fine, and you can get lucky. But can people look at the correct numbers? And that should be the key for you. Those numbers should be proof in the pudding. That's how you accelerate your wealth. So Bob talks, he's talking about the principles of making wealth and stuff like that. That's fantastic. It is. But with what we have, the tools that we have, that's accelerated. But the principles are what we can show you, what you can do is absolutely accelerated. But the principles are the same. You need to get with the right people. You need to be looking at the right numbers. And that way, look, I know a lot of people that work their butts off and they're not making it. So it's not just working hard. You got to know where to get the information. And the only way you're going to get the information is the people that have that privileged information. And if you can't get it from them, then your next step is to try to figure out what it is that they're doing. And, we have that formula for you. We have that success. So it's there. The opportunity is there. You just need to make a phone call and see where you're at and see what it is that you can do and stop wasting your time. You just simply stop wasting your time.
Okay, and on that note, I'm going to add one more thing. The dinar game, okay, and it is nothing more than a game, all right? When you get tired of that ride and of that game and you want to get serious, we've got the ability. We've got the tools. We've got it. I know that when I ran into Tony and Ed in April of last year, the first thing that happened to me is that heavy mantle of indecision and the fright that goes along with the dinar got lifted, because I realized, hey, I bought my ticket. I'm on the ride. The ride's going to finish out. I'm okay. And then the next thing was Ed presented what the tools were that were there that could actually, wow. I mean, I saw that with a charitable remainder unit trust. I ran the numbers. I was absolutely dumbfounded at what the possibilities are. And then now that I've been working with this for, almost a year, it'll be a year in April, every day I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how much money people are making doing what's here. So folks,
it's an incredible it's an incredible opportunity.
It is,
and it's just if you can get people to show up and actually just sit there and look at it, nobody's ever said no. It's like, okay, now I know what I need to do.
Yep.
But that's my job, I guess. You know what I mean? I love it. I love turning people their lives around, and it's the thing about it is I know people who've gone through the life and they always have that question: how do people get those homes? How are you driving in that Range Rover? How do you go get that stuff? I mean, I've been trying my whole life. I went to school. I just here's how you do it. And then next thing you know, they're in it. They realize that there was just a couple of decisions, and it's not hard. It is not. It is not. It is privileged information. That's actually what you're getting. That's probably the most proper term, Bob, that, what people are getting. They're getting privileged information. It's already been vetted. So, just let Bob show you the numbers. Nothing more.
And actually, folks, I do have numbers to show you. I mean, I've got some phenomenal numbers I can show you, and I'll gladly share them with you. All you do is just give me a call or send me an email at simtradepro@gmail.com. I'll send them to you. I put these numbers out every week to people who are part of my SimTrade Pro family. Every week they get to see what people are doing, and holy mackerel, the numbers are just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So, it's there. It's absolutely there. Tony, we're getting close to the end of the time. Would you like to take a moment and announce the dates that we have for the upcoming events? I know that we've got one on the 19th, don't you, in Las Vegas?
Yep, Las Vegas, 19th, and
it's the 19th of March, guys.
Yeah, 19th of March, the very next weekend, the next Saturday. I think it's the 26th, right?
I believe so,
Am I right on that?
I think so.
Okay, and the next weekend, that's Denver. And the next weekend after that, the very next weekend, which I think is April 1st, is in Scottsdale. So I'll have that information out either Monday or Tuesday for people to register. Kind of on the road, you guys, so I apologize. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to post this interview on my site as my regular talk, because I'm on the road and I won't be in front of I didn't bring my computer with my mic to be able to do an audio. So I apologize to everybody. Just on the road, just working it. Hey, you know what? That time thing, you know what I mean? It's all about the time thing. I put forth effort, and I take that more seriously than anything. And think about it. You can have all the money in the world, and if you're at a certain point where you need more money, what's the difference between you and somebody else, and what it is that they have, and or they're going to invest? What opportunity? What defines that? It's usually the guy who studied harder. It's usually the guy who has a better definition. It's usually the guy who got the right numbers. And so that's what we're trying to show people. It's that simple. Nothing more to it. Nothing more to it.
Yeah,
get the numbers right.
It truly is that simple, folks. I mean, I was surprised. Everybody I talk to comes back with the same response. If you go to the events, you're just not going to believe it. And the cool part is they're free. So if you choose to register, you can go to Breitling Events. You can send an email to breitling@gmail.com. That's breitling@gmail.com. Give them your name and which event you're planning on attending, so we can keep you lined up for that one. I know that the locations will be included in his blog. And Tony, do you have the locations for those yet?
No, I don't. I'll get them. Actually, As soon as I get them in my email, I'll send it out. I'll blast it out, and I'm sure you'll get it too. Yeah, and
I'll include it in the weekly video that I put out as well. And so just go to the events, guys. Just simply go to the events. That's how you're going to get introduced to it from the actual professionals, the ones who know. All right? And then listen to what they have to say. Get into these tools. You're going to find I'm there to take you by the hand and get you through this process so fast it'll blow your mind. And you'll be bypassing that time limit that people always seem to get lost in. You're going to be amazed how fast you're going to be investing and how quickly you're going to get returns off of what you're doing. Tony, time's done, my friend. Golly sakes, I always enjoy these. Okay, well, on that note...
Thanks for having me. I was kind of a little off, I'll be honest with you. So everybody knows that my family just showed up, so I had to walk into like 3 different rooms so I can avoid the the chatter in the background. So I kind of got thrown off a little bit. So I apologize, guys, if I was off just a tad. The bad timing, I guess. But,
that's okay. That's what time is.
Again, Bob.
You betcha. All right, folks. We'll talk to you next week, and we'll see you then. There now, wasn't that fun? Thank you for listening to Breakfree Radio's Money Talks. Each week we bring you timely and valuable information regarding the many aspects of our financial world. For the very best of information regarding retirement, legal, accounting, and investment options, be sure to check out www.simtradepro.com. With a wealth of professional advisors, financial strategies, and access to the greatest investment tools ever created, SimTrade Pro is the real go-to source for the very best of the best. So until next week, keep smiling and farewell for now.